I absolutely love running the wheel strategy. However, a few years ago, I noticed it's got quite a lot of leaky buckets. And I'm going to share with you guys the changes that I made to the wheel strategy to plug those holes. And if you drop a comment down below, you're going to get my full Ark Options Strategy playbook updated for 2026. And while you're down there, I would really appreciate if you hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps this channel grow. And of course, I hope you're having a God blessed day. Let's get over the shoulder right away, guys, because today we're going to be talking about the Ark Options Strategy, also quickly reviewing what the wheel strategy is, really briefly, for those of you that may not be aware of what the wheel strategy actually is. So first and foremost, it always starts with a put, right? And what we're essentially saying when we sell a put is, hey, we are willing to buy 100 shares of a stock at a certain price and on a certain date. One of the greatest things in sliced bread, if you ask me. When I learned this strategy about 7 years ago, I couldn't put it down. I hated day trading. I didn't like it, but I always like to be an active investor in any way I can, and this fit my lifestyle so much. So basically, right, we say 30 days or a week from now or a year from now, we're willing to buy 100 shares of a stock that we love, and we're going to lock up our money to buy those 100 shares at that certain price. So if a stock is currently trading at, like, let's say $50, 30 days from now, I'm totally cool buying it for, let's say, $45. And guess what? We then take these hands, we sit on them, and we wait for 30 days, and then guess what? We wait to see, did we actually end up getting assigned? Meaning, did we end up having to buy the shares on our expiration date? Did the stock drop to $45 and we have to go and buy those shares? If we didn't, it stayed above $45, fantastic. We collected that upfront premium and we move back on to selling a put, right? Because we got the cash, and then we sell another put. We wait till, do we get assigned? No. And we kind of hang out right here until hopefully one day, right? I know some of you don't like to do this, right? But eventually you will get assigned, meaning your money will be taken you in this example. Just your $4,500 is taken from you, right? And you go now have 100 shares of a stock with a cost basis of $45, okay? And a lot of people get scared about this, but my goodness gracious, you are missing out on some serious gains if you're not ever getting assigned and you're always just selling a cash secured put. You're not running the wheel strategy if you're only selling puts, just FYI, right? You got to complete the wheel to run the wheel strategy. So eventually, let's say we get assigned, right? Now we own shares at a $45 cost basis, fantastic, right? And then the next month we sell a call against our 100 shares. What does that mean? Well, all that means is we are willing to sell our 100 shares of stock, let's say for $50 the following month, right? We got assigned, we bought them at 45, and for the following month, we're saying we're willing to sell them for $50, right? And potentially sell them on that date. And we collected upfront premium for that as well. And guess what? When we open that trade, when we sell that covered call, we take the hands and we sit on them, right? And we wait 30 days. Did the stock hit $50 at our expiration date? Did it? Okay. No? Perfect. It's still trading at 45, right? We sell another call, collect more premium, right? Did we get assigned? Maybe this time? Yes. So that means we capture our appreciation profit. Now we sold our shares for 40 that we purchased at 45. We sold them for 50, right? Now we got $5,000 plus all the Jose premium, hit the juice button, that we collected along the way. The wheel strategy, it's incredible. I think it's the best trading strategy. I don't even like to call it a trading strategy. I look at this more as an investing strategy as opposed to a trading strategy. However, right, there are some issues when very leaky buckets that you may not be aware of with a strategy like this. And of course, you need to make sure you're keeping yourself organized with your covered calls and your cash secured puts, always looking at your ROC, your return on collateral. That's my golden star. And you can get my full trade log template that shows you your outcomes and stuff like that, plus my 2 premium calculators that I quite literally can't live without. So if you want those, just attend the Ark Options Strategy down below, the workshop. At the end of that training, it's about 90 minutes. I give you all of those templates completely for free to start using for yourself. So how do we fix this? Okay, so what do we do now? Well, I have something called the Ark Options Strategy. Well, obviously, you know, the first part of it is we say we're going to buy 100 shares of a stock at a price and date we choose. We collect some upfront juice. Absolutely fantastic. That is the cash secured put. However, what I like to layer onto here, and a lot of people don't do this, and it is so quite sad. It is quite sad. Is we collect interest on our money as we wait to buy those 100, 200, 300, $500, 500 shares, right? And think about that. Let's say you just locked up $50,000, $10,000. I don't even care if you just locked up $1,000. You're gonna walk by extra interest, right? Think about your high yield savings account that you have maybe with American Express, SoFi, whatever. They pay about 4% a year last time I checked, right? Do you not take that? right? Do you just walk by that and you just don't take the extra 4% a year on your money that is really completely passive for you? Doesn't make sense if you ask me. And that is one of the first leaky buckets that I plugged when I started running the wheel strategy, is making sure that my money is earning interest on collateral. So if you do Robinhood, you ain't getting that. You know what they do with your money? They making that interest on that money, not you, right? There's very few brokers that allow you to earn interest on your collateral, and it's one of the easiest hacks to implement. Well, I don't want to say it's the easiest, because it is a pain in the butt if you're on Robinhood or one of these platforms that doesn't let you do it, right? So there's really two platforms that you can do this on. The first one that is completely passive, and that's the one I personally have moved over to, that is Fidelity. Fidelity is completely passive. Invest your money in a money market fund. You're earning that yearly interest rate, and perfect, right? You're when you get assigned, that money is used to automatically purchase your 100 shares of stock or 200 shares of stock or whatever have you. Okay. Now, the second one that you can go explore is Charles Schwab. I'm a big fan of Charles Schwab. They have an amazing platform as well as Thinkorswim. I know a lot of you love that. A lot of people in our community love that as well. We just, one of our members, OSS, who joined our team as a coach, just shot a bunch of Thinkorswim and Charles Schwab training for us, because a lot of people love it. However, with Charles Schwab, there are a little bit of nuances. It's not much, but you basically have to manually move your money from the money market fund to your brokerage to be able to fulfill your obligation to buy your 100 shares of stock. So it's a little bit more manual, but it's nothing that you can't handle. I believe in you, right? But that's easy pickings. That's easy pickings for you to just pick up those breadcrumbs that literally you are just leaving on the table, right? An extra 4% a year, especially like when I'm going to be running this in my retirement years with, let's say, $1 million plus, $5 million, $20 million portfolio, hopefully, if God's willing, right? I'm going to be earning a tremendous amount of extra interest on this. And that is silly. That is very silly to not be earning interest on your collateral. So make sure, go check a look at Fidelity, go look at Schwab or whatever platform you're currently using, if you're able to pull that off. That is one thing I would definitely suggest you take a look at in 2026. I know it's a pain in the butt. Trust me, with moving brokerages. I just did it earlier this year, and it's not fun, but it's worth it, in my opinion. Okay. Next, right? Obviously, if we end up having to buy our shares, we then say we were going to sell, 100 plus shares of our stock at a price and date we choose, plus we collect that upfront premium, right? That is called the covered call, right? Now that we own 100 shares, we're no longer earning interest on our money, right? Because that money was used to buy the 100 shares of stock, but now we're going to sell that covered call against our 100 or 500 shares of stock and collect that upfront premium, right? Saying we're willing to sell our 100 shares and collecting that premium. Now, the layer that I like to add is I like to manufacture an interest by primarily, as best as I can, running this strategy on dividend paying stocks. Okay. Why? Well, number one, I collect some amazing premium from them, not on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on what I'm looking to accomplish and what fits my lifestyle at that time. But I also am collecting that dividend payment in some cases, like a monthly dividend as well, right? Some of you guys know, and I'll just spitball some ideas at you on stocks that I love. I love Main Street Capital, Realty Income, nice monthly dividend payment from there. And plus I'm getting a covered call premium as well. I'm essentially double dipping. Now, some of you are going to come at me and be like, Pete, but the premiums, they're so bad on Main Street and Realty Income. Well, that's the nature of the game. Typically, boring, stable companies that have been raising and paying out their dividend for 50 plus years aren't usually going to have some insane dividend or some insane premium that you're going to collect, right? And that's the nature of the game. For me, about wealth building, it's not about being high risk all the time. It's not always about running the weekly wheel on SoFi. You guys know I love running the weekly wheel on SoFi, but those are outsized returns on collateral, and I am self-aware enough to know that that is a riskier play as opposed to, let's say, running a covered call strategy that I'm collecting dividends on Coca-Cola or Pepsi or J&J, right? Or Procter & Gamble, right? These are companies that I know you don't want to hear about, but they are stable, good quality companies that if you ask me and if you honestly be honest with yourself, think, hey, which companies do you think are going to be here 10, 20 years from now? I'm putting my money on a Procter & Gamble or a J&J or a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi. And guess what? Along the way, I can be selling those cash secured puts on Pepsi I have to be, unfortunately, playing a lot closer to the money. There's no question about that. You're playing a lot more aggressively closer to the money, so you have a good return on your collateral with your puts. I'm earning my interest on my collateral, and then I'm selling my covered calls while collecting a nice juicy dividend, right? Another one that I really like, I'm just spitballing some ideas for you guys to go run with them. Obviously, always go do your own research on stocks. Altria, an insanely juicy premium on Altria. I love selling covered calls on Altria because of the outsized dividend payment that I'm getting, plus pretty dang good premiums as well. Now, obviously, there's going to be a debate over investing in a company like Altria, but for me, I've been an investor for many, many years in Altria, and I am bullish on that long term, and I don't see it going away anytime soon. So the last one is obviously our final leg of the Ark Options strategy is eventually selling our 100 shares to lock in that appreciation. The reality is this: we want to eventually sell our stocks. At least I personally do. Now, if your cost basis is extremely low on your shares, I can understand why you want to roll it out, kick the can down the road so you don't have to trigger a taxable event. Yes, everybody's cases are case by case. Go speak with a financial advisor or figure that out for yourself. But for me, when I'm getting into the market, when I'm selling options, I treat this wholly as a business for myself. And the purpose of a business, if you don't know, is to make a profit, reinvest those profits, and to continue to grow. The reality of the situation is, guys, taxes are inevitable for all of us, right? You can trade through a Roth IRA to help minimize some of your tax liability as well. Go speak to a tax accountant or a CPA or whoever can help you out with that. But you can minimize. There are strategies to minimize your taxes. You can keep rolling your positions out if you can for a net credit, hopefully, and keep collecting that dividend on that stock. But the reality of the situation, eventually you're going to have to sell, unless you do see a pullback in the stock, which is not uncommon that we've seen. It depends really what your cost basis is and the situation that you're in. So guys, attend the Ark Options Strategy workshop right now. The link will be down below. It's 90 minutes of training where I show you the full Ark Options strategy in way more detail, and at the end of it, I'm going to give you my full trade lock template as well as my 2 premium calculators completely 100% for free. And at the end of that training, I also talk about our incredible mastermind community that we are building called the Options Seller School. You'll have an opportunity to join us if it sounds like something that you'd want to be a part of. So click that first link in the description of today's video, guys, and remember, sell options, collect premiums. Repeat, I'll see y'all tomorrow.